Hey guys, it's Matt Higgins. So I'm making this video today because I want to go over and break down the Last Jedi trailer. I'll try to tie it in to some of the prequel stuff. I don't want to obviously make things up or take things too far, but I think this should be interesting, and I think there is a little bit here to go off of. I think if they were to include too many prequel references in a trailer, it might ruin some of the surprises, I think. Because I think people are really excited to see prequel references in this movie, and they're saving the best, obviously, for when you go and see the movie. They don't want to spoil it in the trailer, so let's get started here. All right, so the first shot we have here is Kylo Ren. We think he's on the Supremacy, which is Supreme Leader Snoke's Star Destroyer. Looks really cool. Looks like a giant flying wing. If you haven't seen it yet, you can take a Google search and check it out, but it's pretty cool. You can see he's overlooking kind of a hangar construction area where they got some like updated AT-ATs and AT-STs. And we also hear Snoke voicing over this part. At first I was thinking that he was talking to Kylo, but I realized that Snoke would never call Kylo special, so I'm pretty sure that he's talking to Rey at the beginning of the trailer. Alright, so moving on to the next scene, we get some of the AT-M6 walkers, the new ones, with the updated AT-AT walkers, as well as Kylo Ren shuttle on crate. So, nothing too much there besides the new vehicles, so moving on. Alright, so this is the most intriguing shot in terms of prequel connections, which is Kylo Ren walking in what we assume to be crate. It looks like with some snow troopers and possibly some flame troopers. This scene looks very reminiscent of Anakin walking into the Jedi Temple during Order 66. A lot of people had pointed this out already. I thought this was an interesting parallel. Here's a picture of Anakin walking into the Jedi Temple in Revenge of the Sith that people are comparing this to. I'm hoping that this means that Rian Johnson has included a lot more cinematic callbacks to the prequels in like similar scenes. We see it again with Kylo Ren's TIE silencer later on in the trailer. Alright, so here's Kylo Ren again. We assume this is in Snoke's throne room. I'm thinking that what's going to happen is that Kylo is going to go back to Snoke, and then Snoke's going to continue his training, and he's going to have him fight the Praetorian Guards in this scene, because he picks up his lightsaber in the very next shot. Alrighty, so this next shot here is of Rey with the Skywalker lightsaber. Again, nothing terribly interesting here. One of the things that I just think is interesting is, and I posted on Twitter, but if you don't follow me on Twitter, I'm pretty sure that Rey's not a Skywalker. Well, that's my belief. But there's no way that she doesn't have a connection to the Skywalkers, because the lightsaber doesn't just lend itself out to anybody. It obviously calls to her, so she has to have some connection to that lightsaber in the way that Anakin and Luke did. So, but that's something hopefully we'll figure out when the movie comes. Alright, here's the best shot in the trailer, the Lucasfilm logo. Just kidding. Alright, next shot. Alright, so we have Rey handing Luke the lightsaber, and we get a good look at Luke's cybernetic hand. If you look there right at the cuff of his sleeve too, you can see where his hand was shot in Return of the Jedi, which I think is pretty interesting. Kind of cool that they even kept that in there. Also get a good look at the lightsaber too. One of the things in the prequels and the originals is that we never really got a good look at the lightsaber hilt, really. It wasn't shown too often. There was the one scene where Obi-Wan picked it up in Revenge of the Sith, but other than that, I don't remember too many others. So this is, it's a good shot. Alrighty. So we have Rey here walking up to the steps to this force tree. There's some speculation that this force tree may be the one from the Jedi Temple. It also appeared in the Shattered Empire comic. We're not sure because we know that there's two of them, but we don't know that. It's just speculation, but we'll see. It looks like it's so old and it's been cut down. My feeling is that it's probably not, but again, we will have to wait and see what happens. Alrighty, so the next shot here of Rey is her doing some more training with a lightsaber. Interesting shot from directly down the blade. Again, that's not something that we see typically in the previous movies. So I think one of the funniest scenes in this trailer is when Luke has the concerned look on his face when Rey cracks the rock with the Force. Obviously, we know Rey is strong with the Force, and she has untapped potential that Luke is trying to hone in. So just thought that was interesting. Alrighty. So here again we have Luke talking to Rey about Kylo. I think when he says, "It didn't scare me enough then, it does now," I know some people were thinking that, oh, maybe he's talking about Palpatine or something else. I really think it's Kylo, but it could also be Snoke, but I'm putting my money on Kylo Ren. I just think people probably overanalyzed the scene a little bit too much. Obviously, Luke's going to be disheartened with the whole Jedi Order after Kylo Ren killed all of his students and burned down the temple. I mean, I think if you were in Luke's shoes, you'd be pretty disheartened too. So he's going to be pretty reluctant to train Rey, I'm sure. And this is going to be one of his reasons, is he doesn't want that to happen again. So we'll see how they work around that. It's pretty obvious that he's gonna get over it somehow. So, all right, the next shot here we have Kylo Ren. Looks like he's in an elevator, probably heading up to talk to Snoke. Maybe, I don't know. He does smash his helmet though in the next scene, so maybe that's not it. I think the helmet for him symbolizes his past, and I think he still carries quite a bit of guilt over killing Han Solo. I know in one of the canon literature pieces that came out after The Force Awakens, I don't know if it's the novelization or the comic, but one of those said that he expected to feel fully immersed in the dark side after he killed his father, but he didn't, and it was a little bit underwhelming. So I think that's a good hint that possibly Kylo will turn good. I'm not sure on this one, but I think that's interesting. So, and then here's the next scene of him smashing his helmet into the elevator, which I think is also funny. Alrighty, so the next scene we get Kylo Ren in his TIE silencer approaching the Raddus. It looks like obviously the Resistance is trying to get away. I think that's the consensus, and that's what I believe in this. I think it's going to be kind of like Empire Strikes Back in a sense, where they're going to be evacuating Dakar, just like the rebels evacuated Hoth in Empire Strikes Back. So, alrighty. So next scene we see a concerned Leia. I think this is one of the two big red herrings in this trailer. I'm not sure if these scenes are going to match up or not, but I don't believe that Leia is going to die this way, but we will see. So I think all of the Last Jedi trailers have been pretty misleading so far. They just kind of want to throw you for a loop. My big thing is, obviously, they're never going to reveal a big scene in a trailer. Why would you go see the movie at that point? So, alrighty. So here we see he's targeting the Raddus Bridge section. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. Seems to leave us on quite a cliffhanger. Alrighty, and we see Kylo Ren here again in his TIE silencer. We can see he has some kind of tape over his wound. So I'm wondering how soon after The Force Awakens this is. Assuming it's pretty soon after and there's not a lot of time. The one comment I would like to make about Kylo Ren is actually his hairstyle. I believe that it looks too similar to Anakin's to be a coincidence. I think they really did model it after him. There's no confirmation of this. I don't think they can come out and confirm that, but I feel like there's just too much similarity between Kylo Ren's haircut and Anakin's haircut in Revenge of the Sith that there's no way that was an accident or it didn't have any influence on it. So that's just my personal opinion. But all right, in this next scene here, we got Chewie and the Porg. I know everyone's freaking out about the Porgs. They just look like little penguins with smushed in face and big eyes. But we'll see what they have to do in the next movie. So, all right, so this is a really interesting shot. We see Finn here in a First Order officer's uniform fighting Phasma with one of the riot batons. I'm really looking forward to seeing Finn and Phasma fight. I think there's a lot of tension between the two. So it should be a pretty heated battle, and I think pretty emotional. I don't think either of the characters is going to die, but we don't know. We will see. So the next shot here is Luke. He appears to be on the ground and covered in rain. Lots of people speculated about what's going on in this scene. I think it's too vague. I don't think we can really pinpoint and say what is going on in this scene. The only thing I could probably guess is that it's pretty close to the next scene where Rey dives into the water and then comes out, and it looks like it's dark and raining. So, and then here's the next scene where Rey dives into the water. If you look at the bottom right corner, it looks like there's a skull of some kind down there. Wondering what that is. Maybe it's one of those Colo clawfish, I think is what they're called. If you don't know what that is, it's the eel-looking thing with the giant alligator mouth from The Phantom Menace. Again, like I said, I'm not trying to force or implant prequel references into the movie. I don't want to mislead people, but it's just that's the closest thing I think it looks like to anything we've seen in the past. So pretty interesting. I don't know what Rey's diving into the water here for, though. I think this will be some kind of force journey, maybe similar to Luke's experience in the cave in Empire Strikes Back, but we will see again. So, and the next scene is her and Luke. Obviously, it looks like it's raining in this scene. A lot of people think that this scene might have been right after the dive into the water. I think this is actually before, because she doesn't look like she's been in the water. I don't know what he's talking to her about. Maybe this is going to be a parallel, again, to Yoda talking to Luke about the cave in Empire Strikes Back. And, she has to confront this on her own. So, again, it's a little bit too vague for me to really narrow it down and say, this is what it is. We get a good shot here of Snoke holding his hand out, assume is force levitating Rey here, and he says the line, "Fulfill your destiny." One thing I thought was interesting is that this line has been said in the past in both trilogies, and by Sidious both times. In Revenge of the Sith, he tells Anakin that he's fulfilling his destiny. In Return of the Jedi, he tells Luke, "Now fulfill your destiny, take your father's place at my side." So this seems to be one of the overarching things from Star Wars. I like it. The next scene here, we got Rey being force levitated, kind of really fast, shaking. So obviously it's not natural. Don't know what's going on here. A lot of people speculate. I don't want to speculate to an unhealthy level, because I find that, especially with The Force Awakens and Rogue One, I watch speculation videos. People say it's this. I hear a million different theories, and they're all wrong. So I don't like to over-speculate. All right, so then this is the last scene here. We get Rey. It's supposed to look like she's talking to Kylo, but I'm pretty sure that the difference between these two scenes says that these are not happening at the same time. We see Rey in her outfit that she wore at the end of The Force Awakens. So I think this is pretty close towards the beginning of the movie, and I am positive that she's talking to Luke in this scene, and that there is a campfire, and she is sitting at a campfire with Luke, maybe on that very night that she arrives, and is telling him, "I need someone to show me my place in all of this." I think she's trying to persuade Luke to train her. I think that's what this is. The next scene with Kylo, I'm not exactly sure when this is, so I'm interested to see. It looks like there's some burning stuff falling out of the sky, so first my initial thought is maybe it's the burning down the Jedi Temple, but obviously he did that quite a while ago, and he has a scar on his face, so this is sometime after The Force Awakens. I don't know what's going on here. Again, we'll just have to see. I think it's just too vague for us to really pinpoint what it is, so. Alrighty, and then here's his hand. and you can see some more of the burning particles in the background. All right, and it looks like that's going to be it. I'm pretty excited for this movie, to be honest. Probably more excited than The Force Awakens. I really do think that we are going to see some more prequel tie-ins in The Last Jedi for several reasons. One, again, like I've said at least 3 or 4 times, Rian Johnson is a fan of the prequels. He's come out on Twitter and defended them in the past. Obviously, we saw a shot that looked too similar to Anakin storming the Jedi Temple in this trailer than for it to be coincidence. Number 2 is that the trend I've been seeing is that they are starting to integrate the prequels more into canon material. I've seen it in books, comics. Rogue One had a lot more prequel references in it than The Force Awakens did. They're getting more comfortable with putting in prequel references. I think at the beginning that they were initially concerned because of what people thought the prequels were, and it had this obviously false reputation of them being horrible movies. But one thing I really do credit the new sequel films with is actually starting to revive the prequels. I think now people look at the prequels with more nostalgia than they used to. Plus the fact that, the generation that grew up with the prequels, the millennials, we're getting older now. And that was a big part of my life, was the prequel trilogy. I loved it. It was great. And so I think now that we're getting older, I think they're starting to integrate some more stuff in there. So, and that's kind of, again, the whole purpose of this channel is to really show that Disney is not trying to ignore the prequels or bash them. What Disney is trying to do is make one whole universe out of Star Wars, similar to kind of what they've done with the Marvel movies or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I think they've done a really good job at that. So the prequels are rooted in so many different things now that there's no way that they're gonna go back on those movies. Those movies are here to stay. So that's gonna be it, guys. Let me know what you think. If there's anything I missed or if things you want me to touch on, we can do that. Maybe I'll make a video on it. Who knows? Do expect a prequels references in Star Wars The Last Jedi video coming out. After I see The Last Jedi, I'm not going to be seeing it opening night, but within the first week I'll definitely see it. So, all right, guys. Well, until the next time, may the Force be with you always.